So my title is Death of a Salesman, as we knew him. There's a classic book, that of that, and a play of that title. And there's something about sales, I've been observing this thing a long time. And almost every sales organization, whether it be insurance or real estate, the pattern that I have noted, when you look at the boards outside, the top performers, the numbers don't change much over the years. True or false? The person was number one last year, the year before. Why is that? There's a reason. And I'm going to explain the reasons for it and see what used to happen. Now, there are two things that we need, and we all have them. But the question is what we do with it and how we package ourselves to make it happen. So the first question, why are you in sales? And it's a very questionable thing many times. Well, let me give you a little background to the Jamaica economy that you're probably not familiar. Over the last, say, since about 1980, these have been the fashionable business ventures in Jamaica. And the good thing, real estate is now running things, all right? So you're good there, sir. But I just want to show you, I do the kind of meta-analysis that others don't do. Remember back in the early 80s, the garment sector was a big thing. And then everybody had a bus on the road or a taxi. And some eventually step it up. Then used car. But when something peaks, it's incredible now between when you enter the roundabout to go into Mandeville, and by the time you reach Spur Tree, I count 40. You all right? So you understand, it's not really, there's something else happening there. It's not really a used car market. Then export agriculture, many times started with the ICIs, remember that? When we had problem with foreign exchange, our Jamaican people would carry them provisions and white rum, go other places and sell it and get foreign exchange and buy goods and bring back. Then call centers and BPO. Believe it or not, following that, the mid-2000s lottery scamming. This was the antecedent. The persons used their skills. I saw it. I heard them because I was involved so now we. I was involved with helping when a number of those places had to be, folks were made redundant, and I was helping them to reorganize themselves. And there was a group in the back who wanted to say, but no, Doc, we're good, man. What we're talking about, how can I help you? No, Doc, we don't need no help at all. So then, I went over. Man, let me tell you what the plan was. The same skills that they used to stay in the call center and sell people all over the world what things that them don't even need. They went in business for themselves. So that's why lottery scamming. You all know how big that was. It's kind of on the decline now. Probably you were beneficiaries of it. People coming and buying, every week, them buying a house. Every week, another down payment for another house and so on. And then we're now from the 2010 to the present, real estate. Everybody you talk to, why, like a real estate business, maybe like a plaza, maybe some townhouse, So you're in the right place. I mentioned this 2 weeks ago to somebody on a podcast with. So they said, but so if you're so bright to know this, what's next then? That's a good question. So let me give you a preview as to what's coming next. Now, the next set of trends, and this may impact you if you wish to, there's a 90% probability that health and wellness tourism is going to be next. There's a 90% probability, just in terms of the kind of things that are happening now. Renewable energy and green technology, digital content providing, agro-export, retirement lifestyle. I did a blog recently pointed about we can reposition Jamaica around wellness. We can reposition Jamaica. So this is the next 95% health and wellness tourism. Listen, man, we have it. Can you imagine people from anywhere in the world coming to Jamaica to recuperate. And they have the money to do it. So it's for us to set up this. And you realize this can be an extension of the real estate situation, huh? Building those kinds of facilities. Yeah? All right? Then other renewable energy, green tech. Look, we have sun and wind constantly. It is to get it done, right? So that's the next process. Digital content and creative export. A lot of Jamaicans are doing that, but not at the level to get the kind of global impact and so on. Agro high value farming. That is there too. 80% probability. Retirement lifestyle community. So if you combine the first one with this one, you can see it's a no-brainer, right? So that is exactly what we're doing. So a preview of what's to come. Position yourself. But you are in the right place now. Now question, why are you in sales? What was your earliest aspiration? When you're, anybody, what did you want to be? First thing you remember yourself wanting to be?
I want to be able to provide for myself and my family.
Someone said lie. I want to be, no man. Who wanted to be a fireman? Who wanted to be a police? Who wanted to be a nurse? Yes, those kind of things. You want to
in early days.
Yes, yes.
No, I always admire even the garbage collectors and those people on the road. I thought it was a fun thing to do.
All right. That's what exactly. But nobody in their earliest dream wanted to be a salesperson. All right, that wasn't there at all. Again, the first job you had. Most people, sales is by accident. Now, look, career planning goes through you choose an occupation, a job, you grow in it, possible change, then encore career, retirement. All right, there's a process to this whole thing. But this whole thing that we call sales, we used to see ads in the paper, and a friend of mine that some time ago, he run an ad for, for salesman. At least 2 years experience, creative and flexible, professional, business-like, possess strong skills, own a reliable motor car, able to travel the island, minimum 6 subjects, previous experience and asset, and simple. But the key thing is, you must be flexible and you must be able to be self-motivated. One thing I pointed out to him, persons who are able to work on their own and are self-motivated more often than not tend to be self-employed. They're not looking for a job. So if you want somebody who have all of those traits to come work for you, the problem is deeper than that. Most of our school experiences did not prepare us for sales. Even though it is a powerful, powerful thing. Now, everything in Jamaica requires, in the world requires sales. But if you think, when you think about sales, all right, think of selling financial products, selling insurance, selling consumer goods and so on. What did these people want to be when they were little? Same fireman and nurse and teacher and so on and thing, all right? Exactly. Now, what are the people in schools had that aspiration? Very few, if any. How about in high school? How about in college? No. So why something that has all of that necessity and impact and so on, why is it coming from that? Sales is an incredible career path. When you had, even back at school, when you had career day and people came to talk about what they did the salesman come? No. So something is so important, but has received zero support from the formal educational system. So whatever you're doing now, you have to put it together for yourself to get it done, right? Now, the most common attraction, sales, ability to set your own earning capacity. Reasonable? Because, you set your agenda in terms of what you want to earn, what you want to. Now, I've said now, I have 2 profiles for the archetypal salesperson. Tell me if I'm wrong. Male profile. You can't be living with your parents and you want to be a top salesman. Reasonable? You also have to have an expensive taste for material things and high maintenance women. Why are you smiling, boss? Yeah. All right, all right. So I get a double for that one there, right? Right. Because if you live at home with your mother and father, eh? And you also watch TV every night and you know one go the latest, all weekend I come now. You know, eh? No, no, no. It's a BMW himself next to you. You realize that? All right. What about the female profile? Let's see if we get this one. Ambitious single mother who want the best for her 3 children. Look, a woman who is happily married, and what you say you want to be first? Be the provider for everybody and all of that?
Yes, yes.
Exactly. It is it is highly unlikely a woman married to a man like that would have the drive to be a top salesperson. Because she's comfortable. The sales is something she do. And I've seen some companies suffer with this, you know. This woman, all right, she get, and the sales organization give you a sort of a, we call that set amount of money. This, yeah, and the rest is, and you have this woman who never go past the stipend. They never go, because all they want is a stipend. And someone forgo a daytime, say I'm going to work. All right? But let there be a, so if you want any more top people, us, single woman, 3 children. I know farmer support. She good, all right? These people are driven to produce because the circumstances of their life. Now, the new sales transformation, the internet started transforming sales. Huh? First of all, especially B2B. You know, nobody not coming. So you want this week, boss? No. The connection between your inventory connects with the supplier, the goods are just delivered. You didn't even realize you're short. Once it reaches the delivery, it's ordered. Huh? The digital model has taken over. But some other things need much more than that. There's a personal touch required. The new salesperson is a strategic business partner. It's not about closing a sale. It's about opening a relationship. And some people have really mastered that. They get a part of it right, but not in terms of the fullness. Many years ago, I love the way my experience, that I know so many things from scratch. You know, I helped set up Digicel from the very beginning. My phone number is 383-5627. Right? I could pick my own number. Because when Digicel was set up, remember the campaign, I was day 14. 14 days ago, I can't wait. Now I pick 5627, JOBS, the job bank. So 383. Huh? Now, people are being trained to work in the Digicel store. Many of them had the old order mindset, thinking that the phone is a once in a lifetime purchase. Now, I've owned every cell phone, from the one that was like a suitcase to the brick, all the way down, all right? I had to prepare them for a hold that phone. You buy a series over and over and over. Maximum is probably 2 years. You have a phone. Either something happened to it or you want new features and so on. So based on the quality of the relationship established, you have a continuous stream of income. One of my most successful programs on radio did many years ago was called Home by 30. On the surface, that sounds kind of strange, huh? I had a premise that if you leave school at 18, by the time you're 30, you must own a house. You're 30. Now, I had a whole radio program feature on this, and the amount of people over the years have stopped. I've not done this program in 25 years. People have stopped me, Doc, say, can you own 5 houses? A lot of people didn't know how you get to own a house. Didn't understand. You realize that the first housing scheme, which were they, people? Only in the business. You know, Harbor View and Mona Heights. That was the beginning of self. Everybody before that, is your mother and father build the house where you live in, And it build one room at a time. You remember that? This is about self-made house. Even to this day, when NHT announce anything, it is oversold. Because Jamaicans just want to start. In a month time, they put on upstairs. But people didn't understand. They say how, you see how this massive house on the hill, how you get one of them house there? No, that's about the third house. It's not this your start. And I had to explain to people, you start with one room, access to a piece of land and so on and things. And again, the stream of income that you get. Now, the data tells us that there are ways of selecting persons who have the proper traits to make sales. There's some people succeed, other people just a panka, They might get a little food from it, but not the big food, because there is something that's missing. Folks, the data says that 55% of the people earn their living in sales should be doing something else. They're earning a living, but in terms of what is required to get to the top of this thing, 25% have what it takes to sell, but they should be selling something else. It's not the same mindset to sell financial product, to sell real estate, to sell ideas. It's a unique mix. But remember that 55% earn their livings should be doing something else. That's why when you look in any company, you look at the top performers, the top 3, top 5 don't change. You have some people at the bottom, they'll always be there. All right? Now, reasons are there, dismal. If sales is critical to a business, you have to go beyond just somebody just say they want to be a salesperson. Because the traits are required. Again, remember I said I started the profiling, but the profiling is kind of rough and dirty. But if we start with that, and then we add the other things to it, we're going clear. I probably offer the most psychometric tests in the Caribbean. For example, there's a sales aptitude test, which actually measures the capability, what people bring to the table in terms of achievement, motivation, ego strength, energy. It's not something that just enterprise. You like running your own business because that's really what it's all about. Persuasiveness. We can measure these things. Self-confidence. You realize that can you imagine, I've been saying this, sales-driven organizations need to start putting something back in the educational system to encourage people who have some of these traits to start seeing that everybody does have to be doctor, lawyer, teacher. Sales. Everything has to be sold. And somebody can make a commission off of it. All right? So, sociability. We know the traits. So, based on these, we can actually identify persons who have the skills. If, in terms of just hiring people blind, I would start with the profile. And the man, mother drop him off when I'm coming for the interview. Tell him, no, sorry. Or husband drop her off and nice big kiss and hope you get the job, my dear. No, none of that. The old salesman is all about dead. The question, do you have what it takes? Now, real estate is a specialty, as you all have come to realize in terms of what it does. And many of you have figured it out. The top trait, communication skills. Must love to chat and comfortable sharing your views and so on and things. And if you don't have it to begin with, it can be nurtured. High emotional intelligence. EQ is important. You read emotions. One of the most classic parts, many people eventually figure it out. When you get to a certain point in the sales thing, the person stop returning your calls. And you're not. And Because clearly you have to get past that. All of a sudden, the thinking through the whole thing. Can you read the emotions? Do you realize that I tell people that, for example, like insurance, nobody can sell me insurance, but I buy insurance. Me don't let nobody try the sales technique me. And like, okay, no, boss. No. Me know the game already. Me know exactly what me want. Do you have that? Thank you. No thanks. Huh? Persistence and resilience. You know that sometimes it's a numbers game. You need, with time, you know how many times you have to make a call before you get an answer. How many times you have to. And the person who masters this, self-motivation and discipline. You must manage your time, follow up on your leads and all of that. So persons who learn these things are the ones that do well. Honesty and integrity. That's an incredible thing. You know, you can fool a person one time and get away with it, but that's it. The word get wrong. No, do not be with that people there. No, she thief. She lie. She wicked. Why I say she, yeah? No, it's this thing called trust. It takes a long time to build it up. But with one incident, it can done, right? So we know the kind of things. Problem solving mindsets. Transactions rarely go smoothly. But you have to solve it. You have to solve it. You have to solve it. Huh? Know exactly what button you need to press and so on. Deep local knowledge. You know the community. You know the plans for the community. You know the projection. You know what don't work, what can't work, and so on. Huh? Where I live now, I've lived there probably 30 odd years. I designed that place in my mind. And I told a friend, I want to live somewhere between Constant Spring and Golden Spring. And a friend of mine called me and said, I see your house advertised in the papers, you know. Because when I checked, it was exactly on that map where the place was. When I went on the place, it was a dump. Yeah, right, perfect. When I go with my lawyer, look, my lawyer asked me if I'm mad. But I saw something. Have I sent you pictures of my view in the mornings?
Yeah, you send me pictures in the morning. When he's doing his breakfast. Beautiful.
Because what I did, I turned the house round. I mean, it was a typical, I call it the country home in the city. Because I'm like 7 minutes from Manor Park. Right? But when I got the house, like 3 families were living there, and the whole yard was garbage. And I turned around, and you know where I live, boss. You know the family room when you walk into that space. All right? Because I saw what I want before it existed. All right? So this whole thing, local knowledge and know what, market savvy. Understand the market and all its computations and so on, and include social media. Huh? It's nice to see how this industry has evolved so much with drone, virtual visits and the walkthroughs and so on and things, staying ahead of proper negotiation skills. Huh? These are all the kind of things that, can you imagine if we had mapped these things into our educational system? As opposed to all of you trying to learn this thing, networking ability. Everywhere is a networking capability, is a networking option. Somebody may not want your skills today, but guess what? Huh? Now, we mentioned Sankore. We developed an online training process with about 139 courses. Guess what? These courses can be done in 2.5 hours each. Can be done on your phone. The idea, because everyone, whatever business you're in, and they're all what we used to call soft skill. They're not soft. Those are the essential skills that make people successful. And there are a host of them. I guess this thing is not set up for audio, so you can't hear it. If you scan this, or take a picture with your phone, you can get all the information about what Sankoray does. All right? Just take a picture of this video, and then you will be able to see what is it in terms of just fine tuning. What happened here? Not sure what is happening. Maybe that thing is. No. For example, some of the courses that we have on, which again, you can do these courses for on your telephone, on your phone, on your computer, call center training, coaching salespeople, in-person sale, marketing basics, multi-level marketing, sales fundamental, social media marketing, prospecting and lead generation. Now, in terms of personal development issues for your own, anger management, business acumen, business writing, conflict resolution, just think of all of those. So many times people think, boy, I got to go back to school to learn something. You realize that area that you need help in to round out your capabilities. Now, how this is set up, you can't beat it in any way at all, because we do it by time. So, for example, a 1-month subscription giving you access to 25 courses is $99 US. So that if you can take a month and you can do one a day, because most people don't have discipline. What you can do, the alternative to getting access, well, I hope just by scanning it, you'll see, it gives you, at the end of each course, you get a certificate. And we also provide you linkages with other individuals doing the similar kind of material and so on and things. But all that information you can get access to directly. Public speaking, leadership, stress management, time management, presentation skill, whatever the area that you need help in, that you need to augment, your capabilities. So that is the kind of thing why we develop something like this. I'm just not sure why the audio, something is compromised. There is not maybe the output that doesn't have an audio output, right? So the point I'm making, folks, is that sales is a large proportion of what we call soft skills. Yes, something was compromised and so on, right? But unless you are continuously building on those capabilities, because first of all, you never got them in school. It's after school that you started. And if you have chosen this area, the old order sales done long time. It's this new order, the problem solver, the identifying the needs, helping people solve their needs and so on. That's the era for the new order salesperson. And again, you don't close deals, you open relationships. Because whatever you're selling, is that same person is going to come back to you again for the next, or recommend you to a friend, to a relative, to continue the process. And that you are in the area of business now, which is indeed it is the high point of the Jamaican business model at this stage. Since 2010 to now, that is real estate. And when you look at the projection of the next years, things to do with tourism, to do with healthcare, to do with so on, you can see the expansion and the extension of the things that are happening in the area of real estate. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Semaj. Before you go, I just want you to bring up that slide that showed the...
Go back. Yeah.
Yes, I'm going to scan this. And